when we look at sadhu and householder, it's also important to understand that their dharma is very different. You could say that for the householder yogi, dharma is much more important. Or at least you can say it is much more complicated. Dharma means your perfect response to your karma. Your karma comes, you can only try to do your best with it. That is dharma. To do what you think needs to be done, that is dharma. If you have a child, you have to take care for it. That's your dharma. That's bearing your responsibility. If you have a job, well, you've got to be there in time probably. If your body is feeling ill, well, you should probably think about curing it. As a householder, you have all these responsibilities. As a sadhu, your dharma is sadhana. So this is a little different. Except, of course, if a sadhu also becomes part of an organization and takes on certain roles, then of course his dharma will also increase. But that's not so much the idea, when you become a sadhu. The idea is to drop all responsibilities, so that you are not so much, being run by everyone, but that you can really focus on your sadhana, which is your main dharma. Yet on the other hand, dharma also for the sadhu is there. Dharma, quite simply, comes out of love. The main dharma is the dharma of love. And for the sadhu, who is more and more going inside and finding there the truth, he will not be able to escape love, as I explained. So he will also have this dharma of love towards others. But his way of helping others will become different. If help is needed, the sadhu will give it, but he will know there is actually no use, because people come with one problem and you solve it, and then they come with another problem. So the only way to actually help them is to teach them. So the natural role also of a sadhu then, at some stage, of course, of growth in sadhuhood, becomes to help through teaching. That also is a dharma which cannot really be escaped, even though every sadhu can decide himself how many students he wants to have. Maybe only just one. But something of that must be there. And that is very important dharma. For that dharma of teaching, of helping his student reach higher levels, a teacher will even sacrifice his own sadhana, if necessary. Not to serve any desire of his student, but to serve a particular real need that he sees. He will sacrifice anything to do it. To do that which is right is the highest sadhana. So if the teacher feels it is necessary, he will sacrifice anything to fulfill his dharma. Then, within sadhus, we find one other important distinction, and you can also see it in the colors that they are wearing. You have the Shaivites wearing orange colored predominantly, and you have the Vaishnavites wearing mostly yellow, and some other colors are there also. Shaivites, you could say, are Shiva worshippers. Vaishnavites are Vishnu worshippers. Shiva is the destroyer of the ego. Vishnu is the preserver of the lila of the universe. They have different roles. In a way, the path of Shiva and the path of Vishnu again are absolutely complementary. And the distinction between both groups of sadhus is actually not very big. They are all sadhus, they are all renouncing anyhow. But you could say that the path of Shiva is mostly focused on going inside. Going inside, dropping everything, going inside, there finding heaven, you could say. Finding the self, finding only being focused on that. Nothing else matters. But then the path of Vishnu is to come out and bring heaven with you. And in Lila, in the game, bring out the divine. To help in the divine manifestation, which is this whole universe. And both are important for each and every one. Every day you go in meditation, this is the path of Shiva. Although some Vaishnava elements can be used, essentially this is Shiva, going to the one. Then you come out, then again, play is there. No more shutting down of everything, of the sensory input. No more escape from responsibilities, past karmas, and so on. Then is the path of Vishnu. So this is also a natural cycle for each and every one of us. And actually, when people are starting with yoga, then usually they first need a good dose of the path of Shiva. Because without that, they cannot get insight. Without that, they cannot find heaven. So how can they bring it out? That is the yoga of being serious that I was talking about. The yoga of controlling mind, of stopping mind and really finding the self inside. But then, once the self inside has been found, a second phase starts in which you are again bringing it outside. When you can be silent while talking. When you can sing and still be silent. That is the path of Vishnu. And then that may again help for you to fulfill certain desires which you find difficult to meditate away. And then again the path of Shiva comes, and of course at the end of life, when death is coming near, the path of Shiva is the only logical path. So this is how Shaivites, Vaishnavites can be seen, and it gives quite a few differences. When here the puja happens and chanting happens, then it's quite clear that it is done in a way that is not too ecstatic, that it is calm and remains very composed. If you go singing puja in Vaishnava camp, you will see there's more drama, more excitement, more emotion. Both are interesting. It depends, who you are, what you want, what you are after.